Hi cuties, and welcome back to my TBR game. I wanted to congratulate myself, one, of completing the first TBR on time, and I do not have to have a punishment. For those who missed that first video, it was during Litmus, but I had 8 books, and here's how they went. The first one I read, well, the first one at least on this list right now, is called The Heir, and I actually, amazingly enough, DNF'd a book. And I don't normally do this, but you'll find I'm going to do this twice in this wrap-up, which may be the reason I finished the TBR in time. But I'm trying to allow myself to DNF more when there's really no redeeming it for me. And with The Heir, like, the only problem I had is that this was what felt like it's a debut. I don't know if it is a debut, but it felt like a debut novel of someone who did not do any kind of developmental editing. There was a lot of repetition and a lack of dimensions with the characters. It was a little bit scattered all over the place. It felt like it wanted to do things that larger fantasy novels and things have already done, with like having multiple POVs and stuff, but without any real purpose behind those POVs and just the consistent repetitiveness of things. It wasn't very well developed yet. It's like, this is the type of book that, you know, some people do start off and then grow and get better, but it was definitely not for me. And the moment I read basically the same line twice in one paragraph, I said, okay, I'm done. This isn't going to be a good time, and we're going to not do that. The other book that I DNF'd, which it's not going to surprise anybody, is The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. Nothing horrendously wrong with this. It's just, this is not my type of fantasy. I'm not into the bro fantasies. It's not my thing. I want to be able to hook on to one character at least for a bit, and I wasn't quite seeing connections and things, and maybe it gets better, but it's too long of a book for me to just kind of blase through, I guess. It's just, I'm not a Joe Abercrombie girl, okay? I'm sorry, I'm not. It's just not for me. Not a gripping enough style for me to get. I will say the prologue that I read, the very, very beginning, I did like the prologue, but then once we left that scene, I was like, who is this and why do I care about them? And I just found that I didn't. And then the next POV switch, I also did not care about. So you left me with nothing to care about there, Joe. So there's that. Next up, I did read The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen by KJ Charles. This was very fun. I did listen to it as an audiobook as well, which luckily came out before I didn't have one. But I will say it was very interesting, as we have this kind of heir who did not want to be in this position, has a very rough history with parents, and then a smuggler kind of character who they've known, and we have that reunion in a very funny way that leads to not a lot of miscommunication, but just a lack of and things that could have been solved. Mostly it wasn't like it could have been solved if they talked. It could have been solved if they would get over themselves. But in a fun way. I did like this. I do wish we had a little bit more with some of the side characters, because when they did pop, I was like, who's that? But for the 2 main characters, I did think that their story made a lot of sense. Their character growth made a lot of sense. The chemistry was there. I did enjoy this. So if you're looking for a queer historical fiction, which has a bit of stakes to it, then you'll probably enjoy this one. Next up, I did one that I had as an ARC copy, and that was The Jasad Crown by Sarah Hashem. This is the duology completion, the second book in the duology. Finished them, and it was so good. It took me a bit to get back into this, but once I was like, okay, now I remember where we reset. Amazing. This is such a good duology. If you're looking for a really good romantasy, for one, that has very high plots, especially if you like things like An Ember in the Ashes, you're going to like this one too. It has kind of similar vibes with we have this magic system that is very unique to it. We have a lot of characters. We also get more POVs in the second book from characters that were side characters in the first book, and I thought they added a lot to the story. This is where when you add these side characters, I'm like, yes, that was necessary, and I would dare you, that was heartbreaking. There's quite a few of those moments in this. I really liked how the ending went. Like, you felt like, this thing is inevitable, and then certain things happen that you're just kind of like, whoa, coming out of nowhere, not in a bad way, but like, yay, but also, but also, ooh. There's a lot of different emotions happening, especially in like the last 20% of the book. So be ready with some tissues, I will say that, but definitely an excellent duology. Don't sleep on that one. Okay. Next up, we then had Unseen Magic by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This is the first, also in a duology, but I do believe this one feels like it's its own standalone. It does wrap up very nicely. We have a young girl who is very relatable, has a severe anxiety, really wants to be brave, and accidentally creates somewhat of a doppelganger monster demon on accident with tea magic, which was very fun. We also have some great crows in this, or ravens. They're ravens. They're special ravens, but it's kind of this magical realism town, and we go on this great journey. We have a great friendship with our cousin, if I remember correctly, but it's a very quick pace, very fun, and a great book especially for younger audiences right now, if they're going through a lot of self-doubt and a lot of exploration of their images, and having that anxiety in this really big, scary world. I would highly recommend this especially if you have a neurodivergent child. Our main character very much, I don't know if it's confirmed her neurodivergence, but absolutely for a kid who maybe not be diagnosed with anything yet, but is questioning themselves and why can't they just fit in, and why don't they think the way others do, and they're frustrated with that. I know how that feeling goes, so I definitely think they will be able to see themselves in our main character of Finn. So then we read another disappointing book, and a somewhat disappointing book, and that was 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. It was disappointed in the fact that this felt more like an anthology, which I didn't think it was going to be, so I was ill prepared for that. We had a lot of swapping of narratives during for the Trojan War and the aftermath of the Trojan War, and it's all about like the women and how they reacted, but like what happened with all these very famous women in literary things, and some unfamous women as well. I really got annoyed though, because the book is read by the narrator, and we have Calliope, the muse, and she keeps calling her Calliope, and I refuse to believe that is the correct pronunciation. It is Calliope, and I don't care which one's actually correct. It's Calliope, because I have a character named Calliope, okay? But anyway, that bothered me so much. I did like her parts. I found her to be a very funny narrator. Kind of, she pops in the most throughout the transitions of the book. But it was hard to hold on to one. I really wish we had stuck with more of a narrative for this, because I read a lot of like feminist mythology retellings and stuff, and this one had just so many POVs and then that would be it. It would be one time and then they're gone. And that's not the style that I enjoy. I get why it was probably done, but for me, it was just kind of a book because of that. So I did Thrown in the Dark, and this was a surprise. This was such a surprise. I got this book off of TikTok. All right. I actually knew about this book before because it was in SPIFBO. So if you need a semifinalist, this was a semifinalist if you need that. And I can recommend it. If you want a really fun time, this had the vibes of being a bit of Princess Bride, a bit of a Mel Brooks movie, a bit of Robin Hood Men in Tights, if you will, but like combine all those fun like fantasy, a bit of humor with the romance, no spice, hints that there will be spice in the future, some spicy thoughts, but no actual spice, which I was very shocked about. But I loved the humor, and this is a slow burn. This is a good slow burn where you have these very opposite characters, and I kind of love the fact it may seem silly and campy to some, and this book is camp. This book is camp in a fun way, because you have this evil Dark Lord, and he's constantly like, I'm evil. No, I cannot I'm evil. Damn it. I don't want feelings kind of a character. And I really liked that. I liked that she was actually more, I kind of knew the twist about who she is, but I did like her addition to the roles. I love the little weird demon creature that we get along the way. It was just such a fun like fantasy romp that I just think it has the essence of something in the millennial in me really misses in media today. So this is a millennial book, I would say, in a good, fun, campy way. It's not 5 stars for me because there's just like some parts I'm like, okay, it's a bit longer than I think it needed to be. I was a little bit lost on the plot, but I was having too much fun anyway that I didn't really care. It's one of those types of books. So this was a very much a pleasant surprise for me. Speaking of pleasant surprises, we have Seer of the Strait by Retelling. This is by an author who I just recently saw, but I bought this book a year ago from her at the same convention I just came home from called Cosign. And this is very different, I will say. I have never seen a female main character like our girl Karis. So Karis is a seer. And she wears this veil across her eyes because her eyes are more sensitive because of the seerness. But she is a very grounded, down-to-earth, non-monogamous, polyamorous person. So if you need a polyamory, here we go. But it's polyamory without the fully committed relationships for the most part, I would say. It doesn't follow the same kind of pattern. It's not like a why choose. Even though our main character, she is polyamorous but straight, which I was talking to Drea about, and she's like, this is the weirdest one because Drea herself is queer, and she's like, all of my other characters I've ever written have been just like, they love women so much, but for some reason, Karis was just not attracted to women in that way, which was a new experience for her, and I thought that was very funny. But we have such a great cast of characters. I will say some of the it's not a perfect 5-star book for me because I do think the stakes of what was going on should have been a little bit sooner in the book. It feels like we're kind of coasting through, and maybe that's the vibe, it's not necessarily a cozy fantasy, but it's like a low fantasy, a low stakes fantasy. We do have our main character finding that people are getting cursed, and she's doing a lot of spirit work to unravel those curses and these spirit bees and things, and you don't really know what's going on in time and how they're all connected in this way. But Karis becomes the Lord Seer in this, or really the Heir Seer, because she meets the heir of the Strait, and he doesn't fall head over heels in love with her. They have a very natural relationship, and then you have his bestie, who is my favorite character, and apparently is a POV in the second book. I love Hussein so much. We also have Judex, who is a spirit that kind of haunts Karis. He is a spirit of judgment, and boy does he judge. It's very funny. So we have really good funny moments. We have good character building moments. We have quiet good moments. We have romantic moments. I just think this one could have used a little bit of the stakes, a little bit more in your face, but just a little bit more prevalent. And that would have really tightened the story for me. But I do think this is a very strong indie book. This is one of those indie books that I'm like, this should have been so hyped. This should have been all over the internet and stuff. So if you're looking for a polyamorous book, still for Herkyed, here you go, and I recommend it. And that was the January TBR. I did it. Let's get into the February TBR with spin number 1. I have moved around a bit, but everybody is still on the spinner wheel, so we will change out as we go. Here is first spin. A retelling of some sort. I have Under a Dancing Star by Laura Wood, which is a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, aka my favorite Shakespearean play. Yes. That was creepy. I'm so sorry. Don't know about this book. I'm very excited. I bought this in Ireland when I was at my sister's wedding, and I still haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to finally delve into it. Here we go. This is what it's about. In 1930s England, Bee's parents want her married off to keep the family estate alive, but she longs for adventure. A golden summer in Italy with her bohemian uncle opens up a whole world, which includes Ben, a handsome, infuriating artist. Sparks fly between the quick-witted pair until one night, under the stars, a challenge is set. Can they put aside their teasing and have the perfect summer romance? There was only one rule. They absolutely must not fall in love. Which is not really the plot of Much Ado About Nothing, but this was sold to me as a Much Ado About Nothing retelling, and I'm going to hold it to that. We do have Bee and Ben. That's the main characters in it, and she goes off on her bohemian summer with her cousin, so maybe it reads a lot more than what the description is, but I'm very excited about it. And we're going to go ahead and replace that with Shiritori, which I will explain if it comes up. Spin number 2. A Second in Charles by. We're going to read Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Abike Iyamide. I hope I said that name correctly. This is a mystery thriller, YA mystery thriller, I believe. I'm excited to get into this. Saeed Hussein is starting her 3rd year of high school, this time at the prestigious Alfred Nobel Academy boarding school after being homeschooled. Misfortune has been a constant companion throughout her life. But even Saeed doesn't expect her new roommate, Elizabeth, to disappear after Saeed's first night, or for people to think she had something to do with it. With rumors swirling around her, Saeed catches the attention of the girls collectively known as the Unholy Trinity, and they bring her into their fold. Between learning more about them, especially Persephone, who Saeed is inexplicably drawn to, and playing catch-up in class, Saeed already has so much on her plate. But when it seems people don't care enough about what happened to Elizabeth, it's up to her and Elizabeth's best friend Baz to investigate. And then a student is found dead. As Saeed and Baz keep trying to figure out what's going on, Saeed realizes there's more to Alfred Nobel Academy and its students than she thought. Secrets lurk around every corner and beneath every surface. Secrets that rival even her own. Dun, dun, dun. For a minute, there was kind of given a Heather's vibe, which I'm not mad about. We will replace that with a familiar Instagram pic. Spin number 3. A Bookoutlet purchase. Book I got for the Bookoutlet, I apparently don't even own anymore. It's probably because I have an audiobook version of it, and so when I did my big move, I probably sold it. But we got The Witch and the Tsar by Olesya Salnikova-Gilmore, and here is what that one is about. The malign and immortal witch of legend known as Baba Yaga will risk all to save her country and her people from Tsar Ivan the Terrible and the dangerous gods who seek to drive the twisted hearts of men. As a half-goddess possessing magic, Yaga is used to living on her own, her prior entanglements with mortals having led to heartbreak. She mostly keeps to her hut in the woods, where those in need of healing seek her out, even as they spread rumors about her supposed cruelty and wicked spells. But when her old friend Anastasia, now the wife of the Tsar, and suffering from a mysterious illness, arrives in her forest desperate for her protection, Yaga realizes the fate of all of Russia is tied to Anastasia's. Yaga must step out of the shadows to protect the land she loves. As she travels to Moscow, Yaga witnesses a 16th century Russia on the brink of chaos. Tsar Ivan, soon to become Ivan the Terrible, grows more volatile and tyrannical by the day, and Yaga believes that Tsaritsa is being poisoned by an unknown enemy. But what Yaga cannot know is that Ivan is being manipulated by powers far older and more fearsome than anyone can imagine. Da, da, da. Somehow that seems a little similar to something going on in the world today. I don't know what I possibly could be equating that with. Change that up with Genre Roulette. Spin number 4. A book for r/fantasy. For our r/fantasy book, I put all the prompts on a spinner wheel, and it told me to read a book from the 80s. And of course, that means I need to finish Talking to Dragons by Patricia C. Reedy. I love the audiobooks of these because it's like a full cast production, and they're so fun. I'm not going to read you the description of this just because, spoilers, it is the 4th book in the series, even though I think they all kind of have their own thing to them. But this is going to be fun. I love this series. It's such a good series. I think Lena bought me the box set of these many, many, many Christmases ago, and I'm so sad that I'm only just now getting to the last one. But we're going to finish it. We're going to do it. We're going to finish it. We will replace that one with a 2023 acquisition. Spin number 5. All right, one of the 2026 picks. For my 2026 pick, I did them all on a spinner wheel kind of thing, and we got A Faux Love Story by Loan Le. I don't know if I said that name right. Loan Le. I'm so sorry. Please correct me. I'm sure when I have access to this on audio now, I will learn it then. But here is the plot of this contemporary romance. If Bao Wen had to describe himself, he'd say he was a rock, steady and strong, but not particularly interesting. His grades are average, his social status unremarkable. He works at his parents' pho restaurant, and even there, he is his parents' 5th favorite employee. Not ideal. If Lin Mai had to describe herself, she'd say she was a firecracker, stable when unlit, but full of potential for joy and spark and fire. She loves art and dreams of pursuing a career in it. The only problem, her parents rely on her in ways they're not willing to admit, including working practically full-time at her family's pho restaurant. For years, the Mais and the Wens have been at odds, having owned competing neighboring pho restaurants. Bao and Lin, who've avoided each other for most of their lives, both suspect that the feud stems from feelings much deeper than friendly competition. A chance encounter brings Lin and Bao in the same vicinity despite their best efforts, and sparks fly, leading them both to wonder what took so long for them to connect. But then, of course, they immediately remember. Can Lin and Bao find love in the midst of feuding families and complicated histories? I guess I'll find out. We'll replace that with a gifted book. Spin number 6. A book I got from Pango. For a book I got off of Pango, I rolled kind of in the middle of a series, but I'm planning to do my 24-hour readathon in reading this, so I'm hoping this will work. It's The Ancient Magus Bride, Volume 11. I'm on 8 right now, and I haven't touched it in a hot second. So we're going to go and just read the other ones as well. I'm planning a 24-hour readathon on a weekend day sometime soon, hopefully, and that's when I'll get that square done for her kid, but I haven't done mine yet. But I do plan on reading the entirety of what I have of Magus Bride. I don't have the whole series, but I have a ton of graphic novels because I'm going to see just how much I can really do in a day, and I don't care that they're all going to be graphic novels. There might be some other short stories in there as well. I'm going to let a spinner wheel decide. Ancient Magus Bride, if you don't know this manga, it's super fun. It's just a cute magical fantasy. Like, she's got a power that people exploit, and she gets taken in by our boy here, who is just awesome, and it is very cozy and very nice. I like it a lot. Shall replace that one with a book for Buzzword. Spin number 7. Oh, just a random number. Random number off my TBR. All right, for a random number TBR, Nina is going to be so happy about this because I'm finally starting Discworld. We're doing the Color of Magic, baby. We are finally into this. And if you don't know what Discworld is, here it is. In this, the maiden voyage through Terry Pratchett's divinely and recognizably twisted alternate dimension, the well-meaning but remarkably inept wizard Rincewind encounters something hitherto known in the Discworld, unknown to the Discworld, a tourist. Two-Flower has arrived, luggage by his side, to take in the sights, and unfortunately has cast his lot with a most inappropriate tour guide, a decision that could result in Two-Flowers becoming not only Discworld's first visitor from elsewhere, but quite possibly, portentously, its very last. And of course, he's brought luggage along, which has a mind of its own, and teeth. I really know nothing about the Color of Magic. I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, you can skip it, it's not as good as the rest of the series, and that's fine, but I don't mind starting from book 1 of like 60. It's fine. And we will replace that with TikTok again. TikTok's back on the menu. Final spin is a book I pre-ordered. That space now belongs to a classic, but thankfully not on this TBR. For a book I pre-ordered, we have Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. I've already read the other Lex Croucher book, which Not for the Faint of Heart, which was excellent. So I'm very excited about this one, where it's like everyone in Arthurian legend is gay. Here's what it's actually about. It's been hundreds of years since King Arthur's reign. His descendant, Arthur, a future lord and general gadabout, has been betrothed to Gwendolen, the quick-witted, short-tempered princess of England since birth. The only thing they can agree on is that they despise each other. They're forced to spend the summer together at Camelot in the run-up to their nuptials, and within 24 hours, Gwen has discovered Arthur kissing a boy, and Arthur has gone digging for Gwen's childhood diary and found confessions of her crush on the kingdom's only lady knight, Bridget Leclerc. Realizing they might make better allies than enemies, they make a reluctant pact to cover for each other, and as things heat up at the annual royal tournament, Gwen is swept off her feet by her knight, and Arthur takes an interest in Gwen's royal brother. Very gay. You know what? It's funny because I wrote a book called Horde of Princesses. It's a little short story where we have a brother and sister who are both very gay. And it feels like the vibes. It feels like the vibes. Comp title. Anyway, okay, my battery is going to die. So, on that note, can I read all those books in time for February and not get a punishment? I don't know, but we'll find out. Stay tuned. What are you? I don't know. I'm getting very Steve Irwin now. What are you reading down in the comments? Crikey, that's a beautiful TBR. I'm very tired. I need to go away now and think about my life choices. Cool. Stay safe out there, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye. I have Under a Dancing Store